All right, so we left off when we were going to say, let's go add a chart to this report and see what that looks like as another piece of my final product here. So I'm actually going to create a brand new data set. I'm going to do a new query here. Just call it chart data. Now I'll use the same data source. Again, I'm still using the same data set that I have in Power BI to create this. I'm going to go to the query designer. And it needs to go and reconnect back to the service, reestablish the connection so it can go and actually populate the fields as part of the query design process. So once that loads up, you'll see here I have the same groups I had before. I'm going to actually create one, look at my shipping. So I'm going to say, okay, I want to see the class of service and I want to see the actual total shipping cost for each of those items. So I'm going to let's just make sure the query runs. And again, I have media mail, first class, and then the actual cost for each. I'm going to click OK. And my query design area will pop up with the text of that query. Okay, I click OK. And now I've got chart data here. So now what I want to do is insert a chart. Again, I'm going to use the wizard. And you don't have to, but for me, I love to get started this way. So I'm going to choose chart data next. And then I've got some choices here. So I'm going to create, yes, I know everyone says not to create a pie chart, but for this particular example, I think it'll work fine. I'm going to go create a pie chart. And what I want to do is I want to use the class of service and then the shipping cost as the actual values. So I hit next. You'll see this is exactly what the pie chart potentially will look like. And as you can read, you can customize all the fonts, color scheme, etc. after you've finished. I finished my wizard. It's like, whoa, I don't want that because it's actually underneath that particular table. No problem. I'm just going to move this down. And neat little trick there is you can move it down. It'll automatically adjust the canvas down for you. You don't actually have to adjust the canvas first. If you just place it here, it'll show accordingly. So I'm going to rename my chart title. And I just double clicked to get to that point. I'm going to rename it class service. And you see here it shows the values it's going to show and then the category groups. So I'll name it total shipping cost by class of service. I'll actually say service class. Hit enter. So you see that's a quick preview. So if I click run, and there you go. So it says, there's my chart, there's my table, there's my chart. It's broken out by each item. If I actually can go hover over it here in the canvas, you see that it will show me each particular total, the aggregate there. Now, you may be wondering, hey, what happens if I click on, say, United States to this chart? Well, interestingly enough, it just goes right off the page as you'd expect. And if I scroll down, you'll see there that it's still there. It's just been pushed down accordingly. It's been resized. And if I collapse it, it brings it back up. So again, very straightforward and easy to kind of see how that would look. Maybe you don't want it to work that way. You might want to move it to the right-hand side of this so it doesn't actually get adjusted with your particular chart. Or there's some other tricks and tips we'll go on as we move throughout this series. But you see how easy it is. I mean, this particular recording was 4 minutes. It is not hard to go and add a chart to get started, especially if you're looking to, say, create a printed version of your existing Power BI report. One of the things we're going to do later on is we're going to create a Power BI desktop report that has the look and feel we want to use, and then create a printable or a paginated version of that to be used in, say, email subscriptions or export scenarios. But that's how I got started with my chart. The next piece we'll talk about how we can kind of customize that chart to make it look prettier, change the colors, add the data labels, things like that. Thanks very much.